Last summer I got my very first professional prime lens, the 23mm f1.4 weather resistant with linear motors from Fujifilm. It is the equivalent of a 35mm full frame lens. Until then I had used a 35mm f2.0, which is a 50mm equivalent of full frame, and I was happy with that lens. It wouldn't very often leave my camera. It was good for street, it was good for events and paid jobs, and it was also good for portraits when I needed it to be a portrait lens. But the 35 f2 has its issues. It is not a low-light beast. It's not the best in autofocus when it comes to video work. Also, the image quality is not the best compared with the newer lenses, but that's of course a matter of how technology advances. It wasn't the sharpest, but it was pretty damn sharp. But anyway, I love the images coming out of that camera. Whenever I would take the camera out and shoot random pictures of my friends, I would like those pictures, and my friends would like those pictures as well. In certain occasions I found the 35mm to be just a little bit too tight. That is why I decided to go ahead and buy the 23mm f1.4, and I went with the f1.4 newest version because I shoot both videos and photos as a job. I'm a hybrid shooter. This lens is almost impeccable optically. The image is crisp, autofocus is fast and smooth in video, and it has weather sealing. I got it thinking that it would be a great investment for my business as well. It would help a lot with client work. Also, there's a lot of street photographers that swear by using the 35mm focal length and swear by being, the best focal length for that kind of photography, for photojournalism, for, everything. So I went ahead and sold my 35mm f2 and bought the 23mm f1.4 LMWR, that's a long one, lens. And I took it out for a spin right away. Image quality was incredible. It was sharp, it was crisp, the autofocus was fast, especially in video, it was smooth, like never before. I was so excited. I even took it on a job just a few days later. It really helped out in certain situations where it was pretty dark. Time passed, months passed, and slowly I realized there was something missing. As I was shooting more and more events and street photography and stuff for myself, I realized that I did not like my photos anymore. At least not as I used to. Every time I'd shoot, I'd come back home, I'd look at the pictures, and I would be like, they're okay, they're not good, they're not bad. It felt like they were snapshots. A little bit dull, a little bit soulless. There wasn't that much character in them. Maybe it's my fault, who knows? But I don't know. It just felt like something was missing. I don't know how to explain. I mean, with events, it was doing pretty decent. With video, it was doing really good. I'm actually shooting on the 23mm right now. And with some landscapes or some street photography where people were not involved was a little bit better. But there was still something that did not convince me 100%. I felt like the magic was gone. I was getting more space in the frame and more light in low light environments, but at what cost? Last week, as I'm recording this, I did a small event in Milan, and when I came back to my hotel room and looked at the photos, I was like, well, it's okay. They were nice, they were photos. The client was happy, and it was mostly a documenting of what was happening, but I felt like I could do more, and I felt like the lens was holding me back a little bit. Yeah, but it's the photographer that is supposed to know how to use the camera and the lens and blah 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 blah. I get it, I understand this point of view, I thought about it long, but for God's sakes, I don't know. Every time I would shoot photographs with this lens, something was missing. I personally wasn't happy with my work. Now, if people think that my work is crap, I'm okay with it. My philosophy is that if I do something that creates some sort of emotion, some sort of feedback, whether that's negative or positive, I'm okay with it. But if it's like, meh, and especially if I don't like my work, then I think something is to be changed. When I was coming back from Milan, I got this thought in my head, why not go back to the original, to the OG focal length, to the 50mm, aka 35mm on Fujifilm. The next day, I went to the shop, I took my lens and I put it out to test. Go. Oh. Smells good, feels good. Instantly, I liked the pictures more. There was something more about those pictures. I took some shots of my friends and I liked them better. I'm not gonna show you the pictures because they're kind of private. Something happened. So I took it on the street. Here are some shots that I've taken over the past week with 33mm. To be honest, I like it better. I feel more at home. I kind of felt it in my gut, you know, to make this change, to take this decision. I just felt it, that it was right. Probably an impulse, I don't know, but it feels already much better and I feel very, very happy with my decision. And all of this is to say that you should try and experiment with multiple focal lengths. Try different ones and see which one suits you the best. That's not to say that I cannot shoot on 35mm. I can, and I will try my best and I will even get decent, you know, photographs. But not as good or not as easy as on the 50mm, which feels more natural to me. So you don't really have to constrain yourself to a single focal length until you like that. Maybe you'll never like it. Maybe you don't like a 24 or a 35 or a 50. Maybe you see the world with an 85 focal length kind of thing, you know? Maybe you're best at 105. I don't know. Here are some pros and cons for the 35 and the 50mm focal lengths. The 35mm focal length, I think it is a universal lens, wide enough to get environmental shots, but at the same time you can get details, and if you really want, you can get some portraits, especially environmental portraits. It can be used for a whole range of different types of photography and video as well. The 35mm will be ruthless with your compositions. If you fuck up anything, if you mess up just a little bit, you will notice, people will notice, everybody will notice. The 35 is definitely a good way to learn more about composition. Let me know what other pros you think a 35mm focal length lens has. And the 50mm focal length, this is very personal, so take it with a grain of salt or two. For some reason, I feel like everything just looks right in 50mm. Maybe it's because the 50mm mimics the human eye vision. Pictures just look prettier. I know it's shallow, but when you think of it, if you shoot for a client, you want your pictures to be liked by your clients, to be prettier. So why the hell not, you know? I mean, if you're doing it as an exercise to improve, then yeah, of course, I suppose that shooting with 35, even though you're not the best with 35, makes sense because, you know, it trains your eye. But if not, shoot with whatever gets you the best result. It also has a thinner depth of field, while the 35, it's a little bit wider, so you get a little bit more things in focus at a shallower depth of field. Let's say that at 1.4 with a 35 or 23 on Fujifilm, you're gonna get more things in focus than with a 35 or 50 on Fujifilm at the same f1.4. Subject isolation is better. It provides a more flattering perspective of your subject. Make sense? Maybe it's because I am more oriented towards people in portraits and isolating one subject from the crowd, but I just like better the 50mm focal length. And I get why some people find the 35 to be more versatile. It gives you more space in the frame. The depth of field is not as thin, so you get more things in focus, you get more context. But at the same time, I feel like I have to work twice as much, twice as hard to get results that I'm happy with. I see the 35 as a jack of all trades and master of none. This is my personal opinion. Maybe you don't agree with it, and if you don't agree, please let me know in the comments. I want to see other people's opinion. I will honestly admit the fact that at 35 millimeters focal length, I feel like I am too close to people and they are aware of me and they're not doing, you know, the things as they would do it normally and would act different because they feel the camera is too close. While at 50, I feel like I'm at a reasonable distance, but at the same time I can take the shots that I need to take and, you know, seize the moment as it is, as it happens. With 35mm, I feel like the people react to you taking the picture, not you that react to the people, you know, doing something and taking the photograph and capturing that moment. If you work for clients, I think you need to use the tool that gives you the best results in the least amount of time possible. The 50 is that for me at the moment, as I'm speaking right now on the 2nd of February 2023. So which one should you pick? Well, I really don't know. If it was up to me, I would say the 50mm focal length, 35mm Fujinon, but that is up to you really. Probably both. Or if you have a zoom lens, try going out and shooting with that zoom lens and see where you're stopping more or less, if you're prone to go more towards the 35mm focal length or the 50. Or buy them both, use them both extensively, and who knows, maybe you like one better than the other, or maybe you like both. I've watched another YouTube video and this guy was saying that he likes shooting with both 35 and 50 because it gives him a more cohesive look throughout his work, which kind of made sense, you know, because they're close enough, but there's a difference. So it gives you the look that is the same photographer that's taking the pictures. Could be an interesting option. If you have the money to buy them both, then I'm sure to buy them both. But then if you have too many lenses, too many options, I don't know. Well, as you can see, I really like talking about cameras, and I think that you also like talking about cameras if you're watching this video. So I would highly recommend that you watch one of these two videos right here because they are pretty fucking good, and you'll see me in the next one. Bye.